but she bullied people in a very unpleasant way.
Meghan Markle is attempting to distract by showing a series of holiday photos, her summer holiday photos on Instagram, despite reports that she made one of the co-hosts on MasterChef basically cry.
Oh no, she's done it again. Meghan Markle has just made the judge of Australian MasterChef, a household name, beloved figure in Australia, Ho Ling Yao, cry during filming.
Because in her mind, like all bullies, it's acceptable to harm others and never get called out for it.
She's not doing this for the money. Don't even suggest it. She's not doing this for the money. She's doing this because it is her love language.
She's done it again. Or at least that's what people have been saying. Even before the latest MasterChef Australia episode aired, rumours coming out of Sydney were already creating a major buzz. According to those reports, Meghan Markle allegedly left one of the show's judges so upset that the judge ended up in tears on set, with the moment reportedly unfolding in front of everyone. Reports claim that Judge Holing became emotional after what was described as a single comment, and the story quickly spread online. People have been debating what really happened, while others pointed out that similar headlines have followed Meghan for years.
Seems to be an incredibly popular figure in Australia. And given Meghan's track record, I am inclined to believe that these sources to New Idea are correct. She was simply trying to make Meghan feel comfortable, trying to be warm, and you saw that look. Meghan hated her.
Some critics argue that the pattern feels familiar, though those claims remain matters of public opinion. According to those critics, she arrives, emotions run high, and then she appears in front of the cameras with a smile. Different city, similar headlines. The discussion doesn't stop there. People have also been talking about the reported incident involving the judge, the cooking show that some critics felt missed the mark, the fashion event where viewers questioned her reaction after someone stumbled, and the long list of controversies that critics have linked to her over the past 8 years. According to reports, Meghan arrived at the MasterChef Australia kitchen back in April as a guest judge, with the appearance reportedly intended to present a friendly and down-to-earth image.
Narcissism and the lack of perspective from this woman is astounding. Let's not forget that Meghan Markle has a well-established track record of bullying. She thought nothing of bullying Princess Charlotte, a 3-year-old little girl. She thought that character building. But when it comes and it's flipped on her, it's like, how dare you call me out for bullying somebody?
The visit immediately sparked attention, and before the episode had even aired, the rumours were already spreading fast. According to multiple reports, Meghan made one request before filming started. She reportedly preferred not to be referred to as royalty. That detail quickly caught people's attention because some critics pointed out that she has continued using the title Duchess of Sussex in certain public settings, sparking debate over what they saw as a contradiction. Some people were left confused. Reports say Paul introduced Meghan on air as MasterChef royalty.
Meghan Markle may have thought her appearance on Australian MasterChef would help, propel her image as a chef, and yet somehow the appearance has turned into master mess. Because according to reports, Meghan Markle made one of the co-hosts cry over the use of the word royalty, which is utterly bizarre as Meghan is obsessed with her own
using the phrase as a compliment and delivering it with a friendly smile. It appeared to be a light-hearted way to welcome her. However, accounts of what happened next tell a different story. According to those reports, the remark was not taken well. Some reports allege members of Meghan's team raised concerns about the introduction, while Poe was reportedly left embarrassed and even considered apologising. There have also been claims that parts of the exchange may not have appeared in the final broadcast, although that has not been independently confirmed. Some people see the situation as nothing more than a personality clash, while others believe there may have been more behind the scenes. Critics have even speculated that if any footage was edited out, it could have been an effort to avoid creating even more headlines, though that remains speculation. Adding another twist, the cooking challenge reportedly asked contestants to prepare a dish fit for a duchess.
Meghan Markle in New York, when she went to do an interview with somebody at a friend's house, she had her staff announced into the living room that Duchess of Sussex is coming. When she went to that restaurant in Beverly Hills or whatever the hell it was, she came in that little golf court, and the reporter said that her assistant announced to the world that Duchess of Sussex is coming.
That timing immediately became another talking point online. According to some viewers, the situation seemed inconsistent. They pointed to the challenge centered around a duchess, while also referring to earlier reports that Meghan preferred not to be described as royalty. Critics argued those details didn't appear to match up, leading to even more discussion. Some viewers also claimed contestants appeared to seek guidance from the regular judges more often, leading to online speculation that Meghan's role in the challenge may have been smaller than many people expected. Those observations have not been confirmed by the production. That question has continued to spark debate. Some commentators have wondered why someone as well liked as Poe reportedly became emotional after filming, while others believe there may have been several factors involved that have not been made public. Critics have also suggested that Meghan may be uncomfortable when attention shifts towards someone else. That remains an opinion rather than an established fact, but it is a theory that some observers say has surfaced in discussions about her public appearances.
So are you telling me that Meghan Markle, who loves to remind people that she's ranked above everybody else in her mind, would have an issue with Judge Poe saying we have royalty in the house because that's how Meghan sees her?
It also raises another question that many people have been asking. How confident is Meghan in the kitchen, really? Let's look at what some critics were saying. Meghan's Netflix cooking series was expected to be a major moment in her return to the spotlight, but it received a mixed to negative response from several reviewers. Reports at the time highlighted a very low critic score on one major review site, and that quickly became a major topic across social media and entertainment news. The reaction went beyond simple criticism. It sparked a bigger debate over whether the series had lived up to the high expectations that surrounded its release. Supporters and critics offered very different opinions, making the show one of the more talked about celebrity projects of the time. Even after being renewed for another season, the series continued to receive criticism from some reviewers and viewers. Several commentators suggested that part of the public interest came from the possibility of Prince Harry making an appearance rather than the cooking content itself. Reports also noted that the show did not rank among Netflix's top-performing titles during that period, which critics pointed to as another sign that it struggled to reach a wider audience.
Belief, Lady C, is that this show actually contravenes the Sandringham Summit Agreement. And it was nothing to do with poor Poe saying royalty. It was to do with the fact that the entire challenge was called a dish fit for a duchess. So there she is using her royal title. And my understanding, Lady C, is she wasn't doing this show for altruistic reasons. She was doing it for a big fat paycheck from Channel 10.
Another point critics continue to raise is that Meghan has remained confident when discussing cooking, hosting, and lifestyle projects in public interviews, despite the mixed reception to the series. Some commentators believe that confidence doesn't reflect the reviews the show received, while others see it as simply standing behind her work. The debate didn't end there. Some critics also argued that certain elements of the series, including its presentation and overall style, resembled ideas long associated with Martha Stewart's approach. Others also compared Meghan's series to Pamela Anderson's cooking show, claiming the presentation and visual style felt similar in places. When Martha Stewart was later asked about those comparisons during an interview, she chose not to directly criticize or endorse those claims. Her measured response quickly became another topic of discussion, with viewers interpreting her silence in several different ways. Some saw it as avoiding unnecessary controversy, while others believed it spoke for itself. Critics argue that when the same comparisons continue to appear from multiple commentators, they naturally become part of the broader conversation, even if the claims remain disputed.
I don't think anybody at Netflix could have seen the show before it went out, because it's not entertainment, it's not edifying in any way. It's really, really bizarre.
Whether those comparisons are fair is still debated, but they have remained a recurring part of the public discussion surrounding the series. Reports have also claimed that professional chefs assisted with parts of the production, although that is common across many television cooking shows and doesn't necessarily determine who deserves credit. Meghan has also spoken openly about still having plenty to learn in the kitchen, acknowledging that she is not a professionally trained chef. That admission led some critics to question her role as a guest judge alongside experienced culinary professionals who have spent years building their careers. Supporters, however, argue that guest judges are often invited because of their public profile, personal perspective, or broader appeal, not simply their professional cooking credentials. Critics were quick to share their opinions. Some argued that several recipes and food presentations looked quite basic, pointing to examples like arranging packaged snacks in serving bowls or placing sliced fruit neatly on a platter with decorative touches. They felt those ideas were being presented as more impressive than they actually were, especially on a show centered around cooking. Meghan's message about cooking from the heart also became a major talking point. Some viewers questioned how that idea fit with contestants working under intense time limits and high-pressure challenges, where technical skill often plays a huge role. The online reaction was just as active. One viewer joked, "I changed a light bulb yesterday."
Not actually dumb. She is just nails down a chalkboard for me because there's nothing about her that's real. Every time you see her do a speech, every time you see an appearance from her, she's a completely different personality.
Does that make me an electrician? Another wrote, "Cutting up fruit and putting it on a plate doesn't make you a chef." Those comments spread quickly across social media, showing that many viewers shared similar opinions, while others appreciated the show's focus on simple, approachable meals that everyday people could recreate. Critics argue that Meghan has embraced a public image they believe doesn't fully match her level of culinary experience, while supporters strongly reject that view. Some online communities have also popularized the phrase "getting markled" to describe situations they believe ended badly after becoming associated with her. Although the phrase itself is subjective, controversial, and not universally accepted. Whether the discussion involves a charity, a brand, or a television project, critics claim those stories often become the center of online debate and viral conversations. Supporters, meanwhile, argue that intense public attention surrounding Meghan can amplify criticism beyond the facts.
And this is a woman that, turned around and said, actually, I'm too busy to cook, but I do really know how to make a takeaway look pretty. Let me guess, sprinkle some flower petals on it. Even that, it's like, oh, look, flower petals. Everybody think of me. I sell flower petals, don't you? It's just going to be really, really...
making nearly every appearance a source of headlines and discussion. Critics say Meghan's biggest strength is building a personal brand rather than being known as a professional cook. They argue that her public image has often attracted as much attention as the projects themselves, making every new appearance a major topic of conversation. Of course, plenty of celebrities enjoy cooking on television without claiming to be trained chefs, and there's nothing unusual about that. According to critics, the bigger debate isn't really about cooking. They believe the stronger reactions come from the way her interactions with other people are perceived, and that's where the discussion continues to grow. Another claim critics have debated for some time is that Meghan appears unusually composed during moments of public controversy. Supporters disagree with that interpretation, but it remains a recurring point in online discussions. One example frequently mentioned is a Paris Fashion Week event where cameras captured a model stumbling on the runway. It was an unfortunate moment, and some viewers later speculated that Meghan appeared to smile or laugh in the footage. Others strongly disputed that interpretation, arguing it was impossible to know what she was reacting to from such a brief clip.
This moment right here, it was almost as cringe. She thinks something is funny. It clearly isn't. Turns to Marcus Anderson, her gay BFF who's behind all of this, wanting him to join in. He's like, no way. Just turn around. Behave. I've got this gig for you, you stupid woman. Just behave. And then she's furious.
Even so, the video quickly spread online and became another widely discussed moment. Critics also claim that Meghan's expression appeared to change once she noticed the cameras. The clip was replayed countless times across social media, with people debating what they believed they had seen. Others cautioned against drawing conclusions from a short video without additional context, saying there simply wasn't enough information to know what happened. The online reaction was intense. Some social media users described the moment with harsh criticism, while others felt her response, as they interpreted it, was inappropriate for someone stumbling during a public event. Supporters pushed back, arguing the clip was being overanalyzed and taken out of context. Regardless of which view people held, the footage became another major talking point surrounding Meghan's public appearances. The incident added even more discussion across social media. Many critics repeated that they found Meghan difficult to relate to.
Fallout between Meghan Markle and Catherine, the Princess of Wales. This was way back in 2018 when no one knew any of this publicly. Only people within the royal family knew the way that Meghan was going on about people within the British royal family. And Catherine had turned on Meghan Markle specifically because of the way that she was bullying staff within the grounds of Kensington Palace.
While others disagreed and defended her. The debate continued as people shared very different opinions about her public image and behaviour. Supporters of Poe pointed to her long-standing reputation as a warm and respected television personality, leading some commentators to compare the two women. From there, critics speculated that sharing the spotlight may have created tension, while others dismissed those claims as nothing more than internet speculation without clear evidence. The contrasting opinions only made the story spread even further. Every new headline seemed to bring another round of debate, with supporters and critics offering completely different interpretations of the same events. Critics argue that this is one of the biggest contradictions surrounding Meghan's public image. They point to her public messages about kindness and respectful behaviour, while also referencing reports and viral moments that have drawn criticism, including the reported MasterChef Australia incident and the widely discussed fashion event. Supporters, however, dispute those interpretations and argue that many of those stories have been exaggerated, misunderstood, or taken out of context. Some commentators believe a familiar pattern appears whenever Meghan is involved in a major headline.
Once a bully, always a bully, isn't that right? That over a long period of time, across multiple continents, multiple countries, there have been a long list of Meghan's victims.
They argue that initial reports are often followed by explanations involving misunderstandings, personality differences, or editing choices. Others see those situations as ordinary events that receive extraordinary attention because of Meghan's high public profile. Critics believe that when similar controversies continue to surface over time, people naturally begin looking at the broader pattern instead of judging each incident on its own. Supporters disagree, saying many of the claims remain unverified or lack important context. Either way, the public discussion has continued to grow with nearly every new story. Some commentators have described the reported incident involving Poe as simply the latest chapter in a much longer series of public controversies. They argue these debates didn't begin with a cooking show, and instead point back to stories that first emerged several years earlier. Many of those discussions trace back to 2018, when Meghan was still adjusting to royal life. During that period, reports about tensions behind the scenes began appearing in the media. While much of the public focused on the widely reported bridesmaid dress story involving Catherine, Princess of Wales, other reports claimed the larger issue centred on Meghan's working relationships with palace staff. The controversy grew after reports stated that a senior palace aide had filed a formal workplace complaint alleging that Meghan had bullied members of staff.
Surprised, Meghan has this reputation, and so now they have to go with a positive spin. Oh, no. Meghan had a great time on MasterChef Australia, sources say, disputing frustration report. It's just a propaganda outlet anymore. They're not really doing any real reporting.
Including claims that 2 assistants left their positions. Meghan has consistently denied those allegations, and her representatives have described them as false and part of what they say was a broader campaign against her. Reports from that time also noted that several experienced palace staff members left their roles. Critics pointed to those departures as evidence that serious tensions may have existed behind the scenes, while others argued that staff changes can happen for many reasons and should not automatically be linked to one individual without clear evidence. Some media outlets also reported that Meghan had been given the nickname Duchess Difficult, although that label has always been disputed and was never an official title. Other reports quoted former staff who compared working around the Sussexes to an especially demanding environment. Those accounts remain disputed, but they have continued to be referenced whenever discussions about Meghan's time within the royal household resurface. Harry reportedly wanted the entire situation to be put behind them as quickly as possible. An internal review was carried out, but its findings were never publicly released, leaving plenty of unanswered questions. The lack of public details fueled even more speculation, with many people wondering what, if anything, the review had concluded. One thing that continued to attract attention was the number of reported staff departures, which became a recurring topic in media coverage. From that point forward, the headlines kept coming. One report seemed to lead straight into another.
I don't really trust any of their royal reporting, except for something like this, because I know they got it from Harry and Meghan's team. And the point is that they got it from Harry and Meghan's team so that Meghan can dispute public narrative,
keeping the discussion alive year after year. To critics, the pattern looked familiar. Different place, different people, but similar debates continued to emerge whenever Meghan made headlines. By 2021, media reports described tensions behind the scenes as becoming even more intense. Some reports claimed palace staff left meetings feeling upset, while others described the working atmosphere as increasingly stressful. One report even alleged that an aide felt extremely anxious before a meeting. Those accounts remain disputed, but they became a significant part of the wider public conversation. Critics pointed to those reports as being difficult to reconcile with Meghan's public messages about kindness and compassion. Supporters, however, argued that anonymous claims should be treated cautiously and that many stories lacked important context. After Meghan and Harry moved to Montecito, the discussion followed them. Media reports later described some workplace experiences as demanding, while critics argued that similar stories were continuing to surface in a completely different setting. Supporters rejected those characterizations and maintained that many of the claims were exaggerated or unverified. Some reports described a fast-paced working style, with employees expected to meet high standards under pressure. Critics argued that this created an exhausting environment, while others questioned whether those accounts accurately reflected the broader workplace culture. Several reports also claimed that some former staff jokingly referred to themselves as the Sussex Survivors Club.
She creates this imaginary slights so as not to take accountability for her behavior. And the fact that the royal family are still going at it and endorsing this behavior, it's not helpful. But good on Chef Poe for actually speaking out and exposing her, because I know there's been some clips of Chef Poe talking about how wonderful and beautiful Meghan Markle is. That was at the early stages when they needed to promote this, when they needed to land this woman. The truth has finally come.
The phrase attracted widespread attention and quickly became one of the most talked about details. Connected to those workplace stories, although it has never been an official title or organization. Attention also turned to a charity associated with Meghan and Harry after it became linked to separate bullying-related allegations that generated significant media coverage. As with many stories involving the couple, the situation became the subject of intense public debate, with different sides offering sharply different interpretations of what had happened. Critics argue that when they look across the timeline from palace aides and assistants to producers, security staff, and more recent television projects, they see a recurring pattern. Supporters strongly disagree, saying each situation has its own circumstances and should be judged on its own facts rather than grouped together. Even so, the long list of headlines has kept the public conversation going, with each new report adding another chapter to an already widely debated story. Think about it for a moment. Critics argue that the discussion isn't centered on just one or two difficult moments over a long public career. Instead, they point to what they see as a series of separate controversies involving different people, different places, and different stages of Meghan's life across 3 continents. Supporters, however, argue those events are unrelated and shouldn't be grouped together. That's one reason the conversation has continued for so many years and keeps returning to the headlines. According to some commentators, the reported incident involving Poe became simply the latest story added to a timeline that critics believe stretches back nearly 8 years. Then, just as that latest controversy gained momentum, attention quickly shifted to Meghan's next public moves. For many people following the story, what happened afterward became one of the biggest talking points of all. Rather than allowing the discussion to fade, a new article appeared in a well-known American magazine describing Meghan's visit in highly positive terms. The piece portrayed the appearance as a complete success and suggested she had enjoyed the experience while those around her were delighted to have her there. The article was reportedly attributed to someone close to Meghan, a familiar phrase that immediately caught people's attention. Online commentators began debating who that source might have been, and the wording itself became almost as widely discussed as the article. For critics, the timing raised fresh questions, while supporters viewed it as routine background sourcing commonly used in entertainment reporting. Another development quickly fueled even more discussion. After a relatively quiet period on social media, Meghan's Instagram account was updated with a series of holiday photos. The posts included romantic moments, beach scenes, and polished family images, creating another wave of online conversation. What attracted the most attention was the timing of those posts. They appeared on the same day as a young prince's birthday, prompting some observers to speculate that the overlap shifted part of the online conversation. Others argued the timing could have been coincidental, but the posts quickly became another headline during an already busy news cycle. Then another image generated even more discussion. Among the beach photos and lifestyle updates was a picture connected to Althorpe, the Spencer family estate where Diana, Princess of Wales, is buried. Rather than quieting the conversation, the image sparked further debate. Some commentators questioned why that particular photo had been included alongside the rest of the carefully curated posts, while others believed too much significance was being attached to it. One viewer wrote, "Nothing is sacred to this woman." That comment reflected one critical opinion shared online, while many others viewed the situation very differently. Critics argued that as the controversy continued to build, the social media posts redirected attention toward emotional family moments and carefully curated images. In their view, the sequence stood out. First came the reported workplace drama, then the positive magazine coverage, followed by the family photos and the image connected to Althorpe. Supporters, however, viewed those events as unrelated and questioned whether they should be linked at all. Although each moment was different, together they became one of the biggest topics of discussion that week, with people across social media debating what the timing really meant. When critics look at the broader timeline, they argue the story becomes even more dramatic. They point to the cooking series that received mixed to negative reviews from some critics, the comparisons made to other lifestyle programs, the debate over Meghan's cooking experience, and the fashion event that generated widespread online discussion. One headline seemed to lead directly into the next, keeping the conversation in the public eye. Critics also refer to a much longer list of stories they believe forms a recurring pattern. They point to the reported emotional moment involving a judge, the palace workplace allegations, accounts describing tense working environments, reports of difficult meetings, and the nickname that some media outlets claimed was used by certain former employees. Supporters dispute many of those claims, arguing they are unverified, lack context, or have been exaggerated over time. Across nearly 8 years and several different countries, supporters and critics have continued debating many of the same themes, turning almost every new headline into another widely discussed topic. Looking back across that timeline, critics argue that each new chapter adds another layer to the wider debate. Through it all, Meghan has been presented in many different roles: a confident public figure, an advocate for kindness, a lifestyle personality, and someone whose appearances continue to attract enormous public attention. According to critics, those different images do not always seem consistent with the headlines that have surrounded her. They point to the cooking series that divided opinion, her role judging contestants despite publicly acknowledging she is still learning in the kitchen, the fashion event that sparked intense online debate, and the workplace stories that have remained part of public discussion for years. Critics believe the contrast between Meghan's public message and the controversies reported in the media is what keeps people returning to the story. Supporters strongly disagree, saying each situation deserves to be judged on its own facts rather than treated as part of a single pattern. Even so, the debate continues whenever another headline appears, replacing one public discussion with the next. A fresh magazine feature appears, social media suddenly becomes active again, and before long, attention shifts to the next event, the next appearance, and the next headline. One story seems to replace another before people have finished debating the last one. Now, the reported incident involving Poe has also become part of that wider public conversation. Whether people agree with the criticism or believe it has been unfair, the discussion continues to grow every time a new headline surfaces. Some see a recurring pattern, while others believe each situation should be viewed on its own. The debate shows no signs of slowing down. So, what do you think? Do you believe these are all separate incidents? Or do you think there's a bigger pattern connecting them over the years? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let everyone know where you stand. I'd love to hear your perspective, and I read as many comments as I can. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps more people discover the content. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next upload. If you know someone who would find this discussion interesting, share this video with them as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.